Okay, now we're going to look at the case that we talked about earlier. If you don't have your calculator, you need it. So if we can't make the bases the same, that's when you use the property of logarithmic equality. Basically, that says that if you have the log of equals the log of n. So two different arguments here, basically, is what it's saying. But the log base is the same. That tells you that the arguments m must equal n. So look, let me show you an easy one. Log of x equals log of 5. Well, in this case right here, very simply and logically, x has to equal 5. So this is the direct correlation between it. If the logarithms and the bases are the same, in this case we have understood base 10, but if the bases are the same, then all you have to do is set the arguments equal. Okay, and you can go back and forth between them. That's going to be used a lot and there's some harder problems like this that we won't get to this year. And there's some other logarithmic equations that we're going to get to after this that's going to use that property of logarithmic equality. But it also says that if you have two things that are equal, you can take the log of both sides and solve it. So that's what we're going to do right here. There's no way you can write 3 to any power be 20. So here they don't have the same base. I can't just set my arguments or my exponents equal. There's no way to write 20 as 3 to a power. 3 squared is 9 and 3 cubed is 27. There's no way to write 20 as 3 to a power. So if there's no way to do that, what you're going to do is you are going to take the log of both sides, log. Basically, what I'm going to do is stick it right in front of each one of these things. So I look like this. Log of 3 to the x equals log of 20. Now we're going to use our properties of logs that we used last time, right? That we learned last week in last week's lesson. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your exponent, and remember, you can drop that down in front here. So this looks like x times log of 3 equals log of 20. If you're trying to solve for x, how do you get rid of multiplication? Well, you divide by the log of 3. Remember, that thing has to stay together. So I'm going to divide both sides by log of 3. This tells me right here, x equals log of 20 divided by log of 3. There's your answer. Now, my math lab is going to ask you to put it in decimal form. So let's look at that. Remember, your log button is over here right next to number 7. So you are going to, remember, fraction bar in your calculator is alpha y equals 1. There's your fraction bar. Log of 20, then close your parentheses, over log of 3. Close your parentheses. Enter. There's my decimal. Okay, it'll tell you to round to a couple. It might be 4, it might be whatever. But remember, so if it asks you to round to 4 decimal places, you have 2.726. The 8 would be my 4th decimal place, but the 3 rounds the 8. It doesn't. It keeps it there, so it's going to be an 8. There's your approximate answer. That's all it's asking for. So what you're going to do with these, take the log of both sides, move the x to the front, and divide. For these, that's as far as we're going to get into it. We won't get any harder than that. So if you look at number 5, again, 40, we can check to see if 40 can be made as 2 to a power, but we already know that 2 to the 5th power was 32 from earlier. So 2 to the 6th power is 32 times 2, or 64. So that breaks up 40. There's no way to write 40 as a power of 2. Okay, so now since we know we can't write 40 as a base of 2 to set our exponents equal, we're going to take the log of both sides, and this is what it looks like. Log, or you could also use natural log. If you are watching other videos and they use natural log, that's fine. Log of 2 to the x equals log of 40. The properties of logarithms say you can take your exponents and move it down front for multiplication. X times log of 2 equals log of 40. And to get rid of that multiplication, you just divide. And you divide right here, this log of 2, the whole thing. You can't divide the 2. Now, also, a common mistake that I see is that people want to divide this 40 and this 2. You can't do that because they are stuck to the logarithm. Just like if you had this x to the fourth over y to the fourth, you can't cancel the 4's because these are two different functions here. Same thing. So don't try to cross them out. Just put that in your calculator because these cancel. X equals log of 40 over log of 2. So alpha y equals 1 gives you a fraction bar. Log of 40, close, over log of 2, close. This gives me approximately equal to 5.321. Let's look at the 9. The 2 does not round the 9 up. There you go. The last one should be your turn. Go ahead and try this last one on your own. Hopefully you got that right. The next 2 videos are going to be about solving logarithmic equations.